Hey everyone, I'm going to show you how you can set up Hassl as an agency to make all your workflow be in one place. So I am Nathan Noisy and I am the admin of this account. I'm not going to take you through adding people because it's quite self-explanatory, but once you've added your staff members, two really great tips. The first one is to edit their details. So add how many hours a week they work, make sure they have the right access. For example, if you're a project manager, you'll get access to reports per project. And then if you have the capacity, set up teams. So basically group your agency into teams. This will become really useful later on if you want to do anything particular, like make a project private just for that team. So once you've got everybody on there and you've got their right details in, a really great way to set up Hassl for agencies is to have just two folders on the left. Your first one is clients, and every client would have its own individual project, and then internal. So you can have projects for account management, business development, HR, office management, even an onboarding project that you add new staff to when they arrive. It's a really simple way to set it up for those of you that are running agencies. So I'm going to take you over to a client project so you can have a look. I've got a couple of options. This is the basic Hassl project with no custom columns. I'll show you later how to customize everything. Essentially all the milestones in Hassl that are per project are task lists. So what you want to do is simply add a range of different tasks. From there you can assign the person to the task, statuses which you can customize, particularly if you have like really deadlines coming up or you want to add some more information about the individual client, and then a due date. From here you can then put all the details about that task can go into the comment section of the task feed. You also have access to all your files for that task, a checklist if you really want to break the task down further for whoever it's assigned to, and then some basic info that you can change from the project or from the task feed here about the project. Also on projects is all your files. A really great thing to do here per client is to add a client admin folder. In here you can basically put return briefs, invoices, any information that you're constantly referring to. Then we have notes, which is essentially a lo-fi version of Google Docs. A great thing to do for a client here is to include meeting fields and do your every weekly or monthly work in progress meetings here, because you can immediately export that note and then send it off to the client. Another great option for agencies and notes is to save your passwords in here. So anything that across the client you're constantly referring back to, if you put it in notes, everyone will know where it is. And lastly, on projects, we've got reporting. This can be really useful if you have to provide clients with ongoing reports. There's two things that you can do in the reporting tab. You can either download all the project data, or you can export a report and it will turn it into a PDF for you that you can then send on to the client, timestamped to when you send it out. If you want to run your Hassl with templates, essentially, you can at any point just duplicate a project, decide if you want to copy all the data over, and then you've essentially created a template. I'm going to take you over to a second type of project now that's been customized, so you can see how powerful it can be once you get to customizing. So firstly, we customize Hassl all through the edit project. Through edit project, you can do a bunch of different things. You can turn on Gantt charts, which will put start dates on your project. You can turn on time tracking, which will turn on time tracking across the whole app for you. You can also have restricted guest access. So you want to invite a client to join Hassl, but you just want them to see tasks they're assigned in. This is a great one for that. Custom columns is where you can edit all your columns. So you can add any of these types of columns: people, status, date, and text fields. And once you click update, it will change the board completely around. And then lastly, on edit project, we've got access. So at any point you want to make it a private project for a team, or you want to invite external guests like a client, for example, or a freelancer, this is the place to do so. Now let's have a look at this project that's been customized. So what I've done here, or what Nathan Noisy has done, is he has turned on Gantt charts. so that he has a start and end date. He's also added another status column called invoice to show whether or not that task has been invoiced to the client. He's also added a link column. This means that you can add any URL and it will open another tab for you, which is great. Now time tracking's on this project, which means that when I click on the task, I am able to see that it's got 4 hours on it, and once a staff member clicks the timer, it will immediately start timing them on that project, and essentially time tracking will be on across the whole app. At any point with time tracking as well, your staff can go on here and basically change between tasks really easily. So if you're looking at a way in which to have accountability of hours, particularly if you're working remotely, this is a great add-on. So I think I mentioned earlier Gantt charts is turned on this customized project. I can click on Gantt charts, and here I have a Gantt chart ready to be screenshotted and sent to the client or exported to Excel. So that can cut out what used to take, an hour in agency life for an account manager, can be cut down to a second to download and export that. So that's a project that is essentially your client. So it's entirely up to yourselves whether or not you have individual milestones as activities or months. A lot of people will set it up for retainer clients as a milestone would be, for example, April tasks, and this is everything you're doing for the client in April. It also forms a really great way if you have time tracking on and you do it as monthly for clients. It makes it really easy to invoice the client and then let them know how many hours you worked on the project. So really transparent and allows a lot of accountability for anyone working at home.